Welcome to People Doing Good for Others, where we praise and celebrate and honor special friends who are making significant contributions in our communities. We are grateful for the support of Wilkes Communications, River Street Productions, and 100.9 WIFM, and we're grateful for this opportunity. Our featured guest today is Dr. Jeff Cox. He's the president of our wonderful legacy Wilkes Community College. And Dr. Cox, that'd be a good way to start started in 1965, and just give us a little overview of this wonderful opportunity that does so much for our community.
Well, Gary, thank you, and I'm glad to be here talking with you this morning. I feel blessed to be here at Wilkes Community College, and our community is certainly blessed to have this college located here in Wilkes County, and also in Ashe and Allegheny as well.
Sure.
As you mentioned, we had our start in 1965. We didn't even have a campus yet, but a group of insightful citizens decided that we needed to have a college located here and saw how it could benefit this community and our region. And they went to work, and in 1965 the college was established. So it was a few more years before they actually completed the first 3 buildings there, and we established our main campus. But 1965 is where it all began. We expanded up in Allegheny and had a center up there in 1974. And then we had another expansion over into Ashe County and opened a campus up there in Ashe in 1985. So our latest our very latest addition has been here locally. It's really just an extension of the main campus in Wilkesboro, but we've opened Harrion Hall down on Oakwood Road, and that's where all of our health science programs are housed now. So it's a terrific state-of-the-art facility. It really gave new life to the old Northwestern Bank headquarters down there.
A day, an afternoon I shall always remember, the wonderful coming together and seeing an opportunity and putting it together, and then the benevolence to the Harrion family is just what a wonderful day.
Yeah, it truly was and continues to be. Our faculty and students who are down there are just blown away by that facility, and all of our facilities are just wonderful.
Dr. Cox, you're a career educator, and there must have been a call-in at some point in time, and the development of preparing yourself to lead. Tell us a little bit about where maybe your home, and something about that. This is the person, I'm an educator.
Right. Well, Gary, I was born and raised in Allegheny County, and lived there my whole life until I did go to college up at Appalachian State back in 1987, the first time. And I wish I could say I was one of those folks who knew from the time I was 6 years old that I wanted to be a teacher, but the truth is I didn't really know at 19 what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So I kind of couldn't decide upon a major, and I finally decided, I liked English as a subject, and I decided, maybe I'll teach. At least I can get my degree in teaching, and I'll figure out what I want to do if I want to do this forever. But I knew I would enjoy teaching and coaching, so I kind of went in that direction. And as I got into that field, I did in fact really enjoy working with the students, and so I kind of backed into it to finally understand that I was in the right place. But pretty early on, I decided that continuing on as a teacher and a coach might not be what I wanted to do, but I started looking more at the leadership opportunities.
Right.
And was fortunate to get a scholarship through the North Carolina Principal Fellows Program, and I went back to school and got my master's degree. But my whole background had been in K-12. I've been a teacher and a coach, and then an assistant principal and an elementary school principal, and then eventually an assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction. And then I came back to Allegheny in 2005 when the superintendent there retired. I came back to serve as superintendent, and that's where I was up until this position.
You want to talk about this opportunity?
Sure. Well, it was I had really not considered community college because my background had been K-12, and I served on the Blue Ridge Business Development Center Board of Directors up there in Allegheny. And in fact, Dr. Burns was also served on that committee, so I'd gotten to know him over the years, working together some with that. And it was Ken Richardson, the former county commissioner chairman up there, who we were talking about Gordon's retirement, and you know what a big shoes to fill with all he had contributed over the many years here at Wilkes Community College. And Ken Richardson looked across the table and said, "Right there's the fellow that ought to be our next community college president." And I kind of was taken aback a little bit, and I sort of just dismissed it. I said, "Oh, Ken." And he started going through, kind of making the case for why I was a good fit, and why he thought I would be just the right candidate. And in that moment, I sort of again just dismissed that idea and said, "Oh shucks, not me." But that planted the seed, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, that could really be an interesting change of venue for me. And the more I thought about the impact of the community college in Wilkes and Ash and Allegheny, and with the economic challenges we're having, and I just thought, well, it's such important work that's going on in a way to try to give back to the community and try to impact in some kind of positive way this region. I thought, why not? I'll throw my hat in the ring and let the trustees decide if I'm the right fit or not.
I think it'd be a good thing to share the interview process. Sure. Folks would say, "Well, I wonder how that works." Just to give us a little idea about how the college would find Dr. Jeff Cox and go with them there.
Well, they of course advertised the position, I'm sure widely, and I applied, and as did many others. But the first round of interviews probably had about 15 folks or so on the interview committee. It was some of the trustees, but then many of the college faculty and staff, but some of the Wilkes Community College Endowment Board members. Right. We have a separate group that runs the Endowment Corporation. Some of them were on there, and then just some community folks. Like I remember Marty Hemrick, the school superintendent, was one of the members of that committee. So the first round of interviews was with that committee, and then once we went through that process, that group kind of narrowed down a list of finalists who were invited back later to interview with the full board of trustees. So then you had, I believe we had 50, if I remember correctly, 15 out of their 16 trustees in total, and I think about 15 of them were there for the second round of interviews. That was kind of an interesting thing. I don't even think all the trustees are aware of this yet, so this may be news for them. But as the interviews were going to be scheduled, I had a conflict that had been established on the day they were going to interview the finalists, and I just couldn't. It was something I wasn't going to be able to get out of. So the trustees graciously set up a separate day, and all 15 of them came back together on a separate day to do my interview. So I was very grateful and very appreciative that they were willing to work with me to do that. Well, the day before the interview, I came down with strep throat, and I was up all night, literally with just a terrible fever. I didn't sleep a wink all night, just in a cold sweat. But I didn't dare call back and ask to reschedule a second time. So I said, "This is one of those times you just have to suck it up and
how about that?
And come in." So I took some Tylenol and drove down here, and I was maybe half delirious with the fever, but it obviously, I guess, turned out okay.
Sure.
And I was able to work through and did, I guess, okay in the interview, because ultimately they called me a couple of days later and told me they thought I was the guy.
And you were willing to accept that a new career
Absolutely.
starts.
I was just thrilled at the opportunity, and my mother and sister still live up in Allegheny, and extended family, so it was an opportunity to do something new and exciting. I was just really excited about the opportunity, but also being here close to home, and still being affiliated with the good folks up there in Allegheny and Ash, but also able to start a new chapter here in Wilkes. And so we moved. We've been here now. It'll be 2 years, July 1, and I couldn't be happier with the decision. It's a great place to be.
Great place. Now let's go to Wilkes Community College and tell us about the campus and the students and the teachers and the support people and those folks that make up the heart and soul of this wonderful legacy we have.
Sure. Well, in terms of students, people common questions. Well, how many students do you serve? And people are surprised to know sometimes that in a given year we'll serve over 11,000 students. So we sometimes talk in terms of our enrollment is based on FTE, full-time equivalent students, because we have a lot of students who come and take a class or two, but they're not full-time. So in terms of our full-time kind of FTE number, that's a little over 3,000 that we have. But during the course of the year, we'll serve this past 2014-15 school year, we served 3,378 students in our curriculum programs, and then a little over 8,100 students in our we used to call continuing education. Mm-hmm. We're now calling that workforce development and community education.
Okay.
So in that division, we served 8,169 students. And then we also have a different area called basic skills, and that's for students who, for whatever reason, did not complete high school and have made the decision later in life, maybe the next year, and for some of them 50 years later, that they want to go and get that high school diploma.
Right.
And so we offer this basic skills program to help folks attain the skills they need to come back and complete either their adult high school diploma or their GED. And then that opens the pathway to more college and more opportunity.
I mentioned you earlier about how awestruck I am when I come over that knoll and it just jumps out at you, and the rich, such a beautiful place that's doing so many wonderful things. Yeah. Talk about that impression of coming on the campus, Jeff.
Well, we're blessed to have such a beautiful campus. I mean, the location here in Wilkesboro and kind of on the side of that mountain, as you described. Yeah. It had its challenges during construction. I'm told it's built on top of about 40 mountain springs, so there's some real challenges logistically. But I'm glad that our forefathers overcame those and went ahead with the construction there, because the end result is one of the most beautiful college campuses in the state. Yeah. Truly it is. And when you do, you come into the campus and see that that vision of this institution of higher education. It's just a beacon.
Beacon, what a great word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, up on top of the hall, on top of the hill, in one of the buildings, it's called Beacon Hall up there. Yeah. And the whole place is to me represents that beacon of hope.
How about the role of a president? Give us an idea, our wonderful audience, about what's the president do? Just some of the things that are maybe daily, but then there are just unique things. Let's talk about the overview of the leadership role that you have.
Well, a lot of the role of the president is working through a lot of other people to accomplish the overall good of the college. So we have an outstanding administrative council, which is made up of primarily all the vice presidents there of the college, who I'll name here shortly, but and some of our different directors and folks. But that group, I work closely with them as they lead all the different divisions in the college to try to accomplish the mission of the college. But it's a lot of work within that small group of trying to establish the vision and the mission of the college. Also, working with the trustees. We have 16 members on the board of trustees. 12 of them are here in Wilkes, and then there are 2 each from Ash and Allegheny. Some folks are interested to know, how do the trustees, how are they appointed? Well, they are appointed. 4 of them are from appointed by the county commissioners here in Wilkes, 4 from the Board of Education, and then 4 from the governor. And then in Ash and Allegheny, the 2 each are appointed by their boards of commissioners. So they serve 4-year terms, and those folks really are our connection back to the community, and they help provide guidance and direction, and that's a real good working relationship. The other piece of it that I mentioned about our governance is the endowment corporation. Again, a lot of people probably don't have any idea that we have a separate group called the Wilkes Community College Endowment Corporation. They have their own board, have an executive director who works in conjunction with that board, but is also a direct report back to me. But that group is really the fundraising wing of our operation, and in fact, they're the ones who actually run Merle Fest.
Is it? You want to talk about that now?
Sure. Well, everybody in this, not just here in Wilkes County, but in this region and in the state, and many people across the country and the whole world are aware of Merle Fest. So it's one of the most terrific things that I found in the 2 years here being affiliated with the college is that festival and what it means for this community, Gary. It's brought such notoriety and so much recognition here to Wilkes County, and it's phenomenal. But everywhere I go, I've accumulated several Merle Fest T-shirts and hats and things. So anytime I have one on, I'm out somewhere, wherever I am, someone will come up and speak to me about that. But that festival attracts about 75,000 people each year over 4 days to this county, and the economic impact regionally is over $10 million. When you start thinking about all the hotels and the gas stations and the restaurants, and just when you bring 75,000 people into town for 3 or 4 days, it's a huge impact. So it's great for the region, but it's great for our college. Obviously, it's the reason the festival was begun. It was as a fundraiser. We wanted to have a particular had a particular need at that time, and we said we'll have this festival, a little music festival, and see if we can raise some money. Well, it grew even that first year beyond what they had in mind, just out on the back of a flatbed trailer. It already, then the first year, grew bigger than they thought it was going to be, and was very successful. So, well, let's do that again next year. Yeah. And then now next year will be our 30th year of it. So it continues to grow, and it's just amazing.
Significant financial beneficiary of to supplement programs with Wilkes Community College. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, I mean it's tremendous. If you think over time what the festival has meant to the college, it's over $14.6 million just directly from Merle Fest has come back to Wilkes Community College over the last 29 years. So when we talk about that beautiful campus, Gary, and you think about Lowe's Hall, or you think about our new addition at Herring Hall, a significant part of the money that helped fund those didn't come from tax increases for the good folks here in Wilkes County. It came from a lot of it came from this festival. Right. So when you look at our gardens, we've been able to develop an endowed fund that helps support the beautiful rose gardens you see on campus, the Garden of the Senses there that we built there in honor of Doc Watson. A lot of the beauty that we have on campus comes back to
Dr.
that.
Cox, let's go back to the academic leadership, the professor, the classroom, and how many folks are in teaching roles, how many in support roles, and just give us some idea of how many wonderful people serve as keeping the physical facility in order and working. Just
Right.
tell us about that.
Well, Wilkes Community College employs about 250 full-time people each year, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 or so part-time folks. So of the full-time faculty and staff, about a little over 100 of those are faculty members who are there in the classrooms doing the instruction. And then the balance of that are all those support roles, from everything from the custodial staff to the maintenance staff to the administrative assistants who are in the offices, running things, to the administration, myself, the vice presidents, and our different deans and directors and so forth.
Okay.
But it's a lot bigger operation than a lot of people have in their mind. It's about a $30 million a year enterprise that we have here.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a significant connection with the Wilkes County schools, and I'm sure Allegheny and Ashe. Tell us about the concept of the early college and now the Career Promise initiative of how you partner together to help in a special way.
Well, I think one of the reasons the trustees ultimately did select me as president is my background in K-12. I think they saw the very vital connection to our K-12 schools with the long-term success of the college. We do have a very close working relationship with all of our K-12 schools here in Wilkes, Ashe, and Allegheny. One opportunity that we have here on the main campus is the Wilkes Early College High School. A lot of people in the community probably have no idea that we even have an actual high school housed totally on the college campus. But this opportunity, Gary, is for kids who are freshmen. Instead of going to their traditional high schools, they can apply, and we've historically accepted about 60 new students with each freshman class. So the makeup of the school is about 300 in grades 9 through 12, plus one more year we call a super senior year. But the premise is that students can come to this school and begin immediately taking college classes alongside their high school classes. And the end result is in four or 5 years, the students have a choice on which track they want to go into. They can complete not just their high school degree, but also complete a 2-year associate degree. And this essentially is tuition free. So the opportunity is tremendous for students to be able to come and complete high school, but also have a jump start on their 2-year associate degree. So the target group for that is actually students who would be first-time college students in their family. Right. So first generation college students. So about 80% of the kids we target for that early college high school represent kids whose parents didn't go to college and who themselves may or may not think of themselves as college material, but it's kids whose teachers have seen something in them that they think they have some ability. They're smart, they're capable. They may not be straight A students, but they have it in them. And we just last year had our first group of students that made it through graduation. We had a number of them who did, in fact, get their 2-year associate degrees. We're working to build that number even higher. So that's a great opportunity, and we're actually exploring now the possibility of doing an early college high school in Ashe County if we're able to work that out.
And there's also significant 4-year programs that folks can come and earn teaching certificates. And tell us a little bit about the 4-year programs.
Well, we have partnerships with the universities across the state. We have this articulation agreement so that students can come here and get a jump on the 2-year associate degree, but then it's a college transfer degree. And that's what that means is they get their first 2 years here, and then they can go on and complete that 4-year degree at one of our universities. Stay
at home and earn a 4-year college degree right here.
Yeah, truly they can. And most of those programs are end up being online for the second 2 years. But what our focus is, and what most of our enrollment is here at the community college, is on the college transfer. So a lot of our students, around 500 or so a year, are going to be in that associate in arts program or an associate in science program, where they're going to plan on transferring on to a university after their 2 years here.
Dr. Cox, as we have had such an interesting morning with you, and I want to thank you for your willingness to be with us here, and we want to remember that Wilkes Communications and River Street Productions and WIFM for the opportunity to have you with us. Talk about, if you will, toward the end of this opportunity that you were able to be the recipient of this opportunity, and how the enhancements in life and the essence of Wilkes Community College is it gives, it gets. It's this kind of a partnership, and how wonderful it is to have that tremendous blessing here, if you will.
Right.
And the role you play in it, and you're look down the road and say, wow, you know, how fortunate for all of us.
Right. Well, we are. Again, we're blessed to have this opportunity here in our community to have a community college. And I think the opportunity for students here to get their start here with us, which it can be just a 2-year degree. There are many careers where you can make a very lucrative living with a 2-year degree, or even a 1-year certificate. But the opportunity is great, and we just want folks here to take advantage of that as best we can. We mentioned briefly this Career and College Promise. I didn't really get into that, but that's an opportunity for students who are in the traditional high schools to start taking college classes. We've grown that program from a little over 100 students being involved in 2012 to over 800 students enrolled now in high school students who are taking college classes in their traditional high schools. So again, I just encourage all the folks out there to familiarize yourself with what the opportunities are here at your local community college, and to take advantage of that. Education, I firmly believe it's been true for me, and I think it's true for all of us in this day and age. It is the key to a chance at the good life.
For a lot of families, it's a bridge, isn't it?
Sure
from
is.
Coming out of the traditional high school into miracles.
Absolutely. Well, so many students, and I was probably myself in this category, may not quite be ready for that transition to a big university, you know, hundreds of miles away from home. Yeah. And so another year or two in transition through the community college to kind of learn what it is to be a college student, and that level of rigor and challenge, but also doing that while you're still connected there at home. It's a great way, and an economically really smart way to work toward that 4-year degree.
And I want to thank you for having a servant's heart, for having the great feel for how things work and how we can work together to make things better for our communities. So again, in giving we receive, and happy people are seeking and finding ways to serve. And a couple of ending feelings, if you will, about how you've been blessed by being here.
Well, again, it's such a wonderful opportunity, and when you go through these different ceremonies, Gary, that we have each year, and you hear the stories of our students who, you know, the single mother with 3 students who's working a full-time job, taking classes in the evenings or on weekends or during the day, just any way possible, just to improve her capacity to provide for her family. You hear story after story like that. It's so uplifting. It just makes you want to work that much harder to provide that opportunity and to reach out and make sure that kind of opportunity is available for everyone in our community. And as we improve the overall educational level of our community, I think we lift up the community, and the economic development and prosperity just goes up as we reach more and more people out in the community.
Thank you for giving and sharing and caring in a special way here, and it's been a tremendous experience to be with you here today, and let's do this again soon.
Absolutely, Gary.
Thank you very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.